welcome back to Life at the Outpost. We have some good results and some bad results, so we've broken even. Not what we want at all by any means,
Not
but
at this time of the year, man.
yeah, I guess one loss is better than two, but
it just feels like last year, and it's scary and painful.
yeah, oddly reminiscent. Losing a game we probably should have won. The week just being against the Broncos. The Tigers' win was good. Wasn't as good as it should have been, but it was good. And then, letting it all go this week by, that's it, letting the game go. Don't know how. The Derby's always good, Derby's always a good game. They're usually close, at least anyway, or they're a hard, tough game, but it was that for the most part, first half of the Derby, but yeah, geez, I don't know. The boys just really took the foot off the throat. I think they were sort of chancing their hand a lot. I found week just been against the Broncos, and it was turning up results for the most part. Not necessarily in the way of points, but field position and possession.
That was the really big one, man. We're getting beaten on field position.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a way to address that, but yeah.
Yeah, like field position and possession in that first half was good. It was all going our way, and a lot of Broncos errors in that, and we capitalised on it. But
it wouldn't be too bad if a footy game was made for 40 minutes. But
yeah, that ain't it. Yeah,
yeah.
And the Broncos, for what they dished up in the first half, came back out and absolutely dominated. They just turned. It was almost like the game got flipped on its head. Really turned it all around. Yeah, they capitalised on the errors and stuff they'd made in that first half, while still, being a little bit loose, fair few drop balls and things like that. Yeah, they just really, really put us to the sword, unfortunately. Stags run amok. Yeah, a few of their big boys, big boppers, in place of Payne Haas and that.
Even Xavier had he had a pretty solid game for most of it, and then he got his own lollies. I think 70th minute or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's really coming into his own as well as a player.
Yeah, very, very solid big body, and just getting that game time this year, a bit more game time, or a decent amount of game time rather this year through a few injuries, is seeing him come a long way, leaps and bounds. I think definitely prospect for them, and he's massive. Who else? Yeah.
Fear the deer though, 2 weeks in a row. Fear the deer.
Yep. Tommy D, the man. We'll go back. We'll have a quick look at the West Tigers game there anyway. Tommy being our first try scorer in the 18th minute there. It was a pretty well close game, that one, wasn't it, against the Tigers initially, until that send off probably early in the second half there. It looked like it could have been a contest. I think we ended the first half in front but maybe only by 6 points or something. I don't think
it was 6 points.
Yeah, it wasn't much in it, man. And then they came out.
They scored first, then Olam gets sent off, and then we just destroyed.
Yeah, it was anyone's try.
Hulk
really
smashed them.
Yeah, it was all one-way footy, which is to be expected when they're playing the rest of the game without a player. But even then, a bit later in the game, getting toward the end of it, a few errors, I think, sort of provided the Tigers opportunities to score, and that's exactly what they did. So
I know everyone and their nan was on the edge of their seat waiting for a Kyle try.
Yeah.
It took till the 78th minute.
Yep, right at the end, just to clinch it. I mean, 18 points is nothing to sneeze at. It's a decent score line in that, and 48 points to 30. That's a massive game, but probably just not the lead we should have had with playing a whole half or most of a whole half with a player down.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone was asking the exact same question. Do we actually give a fuck about for and against?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question is no.
No,
we do not.
Not after that week, not after this week.
But also, I think maybe, because we all went back, because me and the boys were talking about it at work as well. And, we went and had a look, and we were looking to go, oh, geez, I think even if they got like 54 and against points, it wouldn't matter. But it's based on who else is around them. So
yep.
Makes sense, but also I think as a passionate supporter, you do want to see your boys, even if it doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme, you still want to see them play for it.
Yeah. Where they're sitting on the ladder, they're unfortunately, for and against is probably may potentially play a part if they don't win the next 3 games they've got, which is what they need to do. We got the bye, and if we didn't have the bye, we'd actually be in trouble at the moment. We'd be stressing a little bit, but they really need to be winning at least 2. They definitely need to win at least 2 of the next 3 games. And like you said,
they're all scary games too.
Yeah, for and against aren't really going to play too much of a part. And
Actually, I think it's only 2 games that are scary, right?
We've got Melbourne Raiders this week, and Dogs at their home ground in the last round. So
all 3 games are scary. Never mind.
Melbourne will be tough. Dogs is definitely going to be tough, and Raiders,
it's a classic Raiders Cowboys game. They just always seem to really try and put us to the sword.
Yep.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah, just hoping the boys don't choke. They just put in a solid effort, and
Rapana being out there could be good for us.
Footy. Yeah, play some finals footy. That's all we want. We just want boys to play finals footy again, get back in there and see what they can do. But moving on to this week against the Broncos, early on the Broncos scored through, like you said, Corey Jensen.
Whoever had money on him is, can I have some?
Yeah, shouldn't have happened, but
can I have some?
Story of the year, right? Cowboys, Middle's going over right on the try line against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact amount of games it was. I think it's something like 130 games it's been since he scored.
Yeah, 7 years, I think. It's been 7 years since he scored last I saw. So how
when
many
he played for us?
Then. Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably even earlier on in his career for us. Exactly right. And then it's sort of from there.
As a hungry boy.
Broncos just couldn't really string a full set together, unfortunately for them. And we started to take advantage of that and played some good footy. Like I said, possession. We had all the possession. We had all the field position and that off the back of having all the possession. And we were getting points. And then I think late in the first half, I think they ended up getting one, or it was probably right in the dying minutes of the first half through Mariner. There you go,
Mariner.
36th minute, so just before half time. Mariner went over and then sort of brought it back within reach for them, so they hadn't lost hope yet, the Bronx. And that was about it in terms of our scoring anyway. We did not score another point for the rest of the game. It came out and it was all Broncos after probably 10 minutes into the second half, I would say. Thereabouts.
Yep, and it was painful.
Yep.
It was painful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was that little bit of a slog or arm wrestle, and then, you could just see the boys were running out of steam. We had no go forward. The best thing we had, and I think it was probably Cotter's last attempt at getting us moving forward, was he just took a massive hit up, massive run, broke through the defensive line, hit the turf, got up and made a couple more meters, and that was actually a good set for us. It ended us right on their line, I'm pretty sure, and the result was nothing, nada. Mm-hmm. Nothing came of it, unfortunately. It was just a story of it. The boys they took the foot off the throat a little bit, I think, or maybe got a little bit complacent, and then Broncos started doing what we had been doing, chancing their hand, throwing the ball around. It felt a little
tired as well towards the end, but
definitely.
I think
definitely were.
I think the biggest thing for me was just the lack of possession and field position, really. We've really got to address that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely a big issue. What should have been, earlier on, what should have been good for us, and a bit of maybe a nail in the coffin moment, or at least a really good set.
An indicative moment.
Yeah, it was Walsh kicking the ball out on the full from the kickoff, and what happened was we got our 50-metre, our penalty kick from the 50-metre line, and it didn't make touch somehow. Didn't make touch. Don't know how. Not going to question how or why. Doesn't matter anymore. But, just didn't make touch. And it sort of turned around there. I think that was probably one of the moments where the Broncos went, yep, we're still in this game. We can.
Not just are we still in this game.
Yep.
We are in control of this game.
We can stick in, and that's it. We can
physically and mentally.
Yeah, it was almost like a switch sort of flicked at that moment, probably for them, and then maybe for us as well. They traded spots, the mindsets of both teams. But good win, dominant win by the Broncos there. Stags run an absolute muck.
He was pretty quiet until that 40-50 minute mark, and he's like, no.
He knew,
this is what's happening.
You could see as soon as, and no one was tackling on him. No one could tackle him as soon as he started mucking around, fucking dancing around, and letting the ball go and stuff like that.
Got to earn some of them Townsville toes, boy.
Yeah, that's it. You knew that he wasn't. he wasn't going to stop, and he didn't. The boys just didn't have an answer for it. No one wanted to come in or could come in and shut him down with a solid tackle, unfortunately. But yeah, there's not much more to say. I mean, disappointing, very disappointing. We needed that win to solidify a finals position, I think, and we needed to win by a decent sort of margin, a couple points just to help with that for and against. But nah, boys made it hard for themselves. That's all there really was to say. I think the point for me where, and I mean the game was pretty well gone by then anyway, probably only 15 minutes left in it or something like that. Walsh made a run away from, they're 10 meters in from their try line or something like that. He got well into our half anyway, but Chad right there chasing, and did the Chad tackle, put his arms up, and I don't know what happened. Walsh didn't even palm him. Walsh's speed, he maybe got dragged on a bit, but watching Chad
like a ghost
hit the dirt, hit the turf, and I thought he was injured. I thought, oh no, here we go. That's his season done for us.
Just the pride, bro.
That's his Cowboys career go. But yeah, I think it was just the pride because he just hit the turf and he face down. He's just laying there face down, and the whole play continued. I can't remember who ended up making the tackle, whether it was Drinkwater. I think it might have been Drinkwater actually ended up finishing it, but yeah, he did not get back up until that ball was played and well and truly into the next play. He didn't get back up, and it was that, yep, all right, the boys have given up, or part of the team's given up. They've resigned to the fact the game's over. They're not, there hasn't been much go forward just yet, and there's not going to be for the rest of it. So we'll just stick in and hope it's not going to be too much of a thrashing. And that's what it was. Yeah, just unfortunate.
Pumping.
Yeah, unfortunate and disappointing. Without being too pessimistic, that's pretty much what it was. The late change, I think, was a bit confusing to me, dropping McKaylee to 18th man for Purdue,
and then not playing Purdue at all.
Yeah, you could see the idea. He wanted to have a little bit of speed there, I think. Tire him out and have a little bit of speed, but
it's hilarious because we got fucked in the middle.
Yeah, and it just didn't eventuate. It didn't get to that point, and that's exactly right. If we had McKaylee, not to say it would have changed results, but I think it would have helped with our
would have improved things. I think for sure.
Yeah, our momentum and our go forward would have definitely had some.
We needed something other than kicking meters because we didn't have that either.
None of those. Exactly right.
No, we weren't getting it there, so we needed to get it elsewhere, and we just didn't have the boys to get it there.
And again, there was a lot of shared kicking I did see starting to go around. There was a bit more than just Chad kicking, but even then, man, geez, they didn't really land. They didn't really hit. There were a few. I know Drinkwater put a few up, and we got a couple meters off them, but even with his hand, Walsh swallowed them up. So yeah, just nothing really creative.
Not much doing there. Yeah,
not much doing. And the chases again, as the boys got tired, as it happens, the chases really died off, unfortunately. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Optimism. Mm-hmm. This week we do have the Raiders.
Yep, back home again.
We do have the Raiders. We do have them at home 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Gotta love that.
Yep.
2 weeks in a row. It was like up for Tigers. 2 weeks in a row. You do love that. That is great stuff. That is great stuff. Statistically, we are better at home against the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Great odds already.
Yep.
I think the last time we played them at home, we beat them by 1 point. But both that game as well as the game where we didn't play them at home, we played them down south this year.
Yep.
Both of those games, Jordan Rapana was a very, very key component to how those games were going.
Yep. Pivotal.
Very pivotal player for those games.
Yep.
Probably mostly the reason why they were in those games.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Jordan Rapana is injured. So that gives me a lot more of a positive outlook going into this game.
Yeah.
But we do need to hopefully have an address for the forward side of things.
Yeah.
Some sort of an answer, whether it's pulling some younger boys or just have some of the maybe even some of the smaller guys stand up and just play the forward.
Yep.
I mean, Cotteroy does a pretty good job at that.
Yep, McIntyre again.
McIntyre, I thought he did fine.
Yeah, he deserves he deserves praise as well, definitely, because he's come a long way since we've bought him. But week in, week out, he just seems to give it his all. And
maybe Griff can play a little bit longer.
Yeah, possibly. I think he's starting to get better with his match fitness. I think, man, for a big boy.
And he is a big boy too. So.
Yeah, exactly right. If that's it, if he could maybe not this year, unfortunately, seeing as how close we are to the end of it, but if he could just squeeze a little bit more extra
just
game
an extra,
time in,
like 5-10, just to stay on and pump it a little bit harder, just for a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of what we need right now, more than anything, at least until we get Jace back.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep.
Jace is potentially this week.
Yep.
But we'll say next week.
Yep.
If he is back this week, thank God, because we will need him. We will need him.
Definitely.
The other thing is, I don't know what's going to happen with Tarpanay. Tarpanay with a bit of ref abuse this week as well.
May miss a week or two.
If he does miss a week, looking good.
Yeah, yeah,
looking good.
Definitely helps us in terms of their forward momentum and that.
Because they have one of the biggest packs in the NRL, so
yeah,
it really is no excuse as to why they're so.
Yeah, Huddy, Whitehead, Papali even.
He scored this week in his 300th.
Yep.
Big props, Papa.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Queensland great.
Definitely a lot of go forward for them, or a lot of big bodies.
Even like Starling, he's a big bloke too.
Yeah, a good little hooker. He's got a bit of speed about him. Just need to be able to be on top of that defence and combat it. Even if like we get away to a decent lead, and just play for what you got there. Stick to your systems, and points will come if they come. If they don't, just stick to